Good evening and welcome to Making the Case. I'm Yodit Tewolde. We begin tonight in Oklahoma, where in less than 24 hours, Julius Jones will be executed, a man who millions of people believe is innocent. Julius has spent the last 20 years living on death row after he was convicted of killing white businessman Paul Howell, that is, a crime he has always maintained he didn't do. Despite overwhelming evidence pointing to his innocence and 2 recommendations for clemency from the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board, Julius is still scheduled to die tomorrow at 4 p.m. Tonight, all eyes are on Oklahoma's Governor Kevin Stitt, waiting to see if he'll step in and stop this execution from happening. BNC's Derek Lewis is live in McAlester, Oklahoma, where he had a chance to speak with Julius's mother. Derek.
Yodit, when Madeline Davis Jones and I spoke this afternoon, she smiled and she was very hopeful that her son will not be executed. Inside the Oklahoma State Penitentiary Wednesday, 41-year-old Julius Jones talked with his mother for hours.
We talked, prayed, and just talked about a lot of things.
Madeline Davis Jones says the visit lifted her spirits.
I'm feeling better than I felt this morning. This morning I felt kind of empty, but just thinking of some spiritual songs being filled and led and being able to see Jay and what have you, I feel good.
He could be executed in less than 24 hours for the shooting death of Paul Howell during a carjacking more than 20 years ago. Jones says he was framed by the actual killer, a high school friend who was released from prison after 15 years. Millions believe Jones is innocent, including his sister, Antoinette Jones, who also visited him Wednesday.
He was at home with me. He was at home with his family, celebrating his birthday, eating a birthday cookie.
Prosecutors say the evidence against him is overwhelming, as witnesses identified Jones as the shooter. Investigators also found the murder weapon and a bandana with Jones's DNA in an attic above his bedroom. Jones says his friend placed it there after visiting him following the shooting.
There was information that was never presented in court, and they learned that he didn't have adequate counsel. They learned he didn't have a juror of peers, because 11 white people and 1 black person is not a juror of peers.
The state's Pardon and Parole Board recently stepped in.
I would make the motion to recommend, along with clemency, commuting the sentence to life with the possibility of parole.
Supporters, as well as his family, are now hoping Jones is not executed.
I believe in my spirit that it won't happen. And I believe that the governor will make the right decision.
She shared what her last words were to her son.
That I loved him.
Now, Madeline says if the governor does grant clemency, this will bring justice and closure to the family. So far, there has been no word from the governor about his decision. Jones's execution is scheduled for tomorrow at 4 in the afternoon. Yodit.
Derek, first, thank you for being our eyes and ears there in Oklahoma. I had a chance to speak to Mother Jones last night, and we talked about her chance to finally hug her son after more than 20 years of having to visit with him through a thick glass window between them. That didn't get to happen for her. Do you have any more details as to why, and how did she receive the news that she wasn't going to be able to hug her son?
Yeah, so we talked about that. She didn't really go into much detail about why she wasn't allowed that contact visit, but she told me that there was a glass up again during this visit here today, and the 2 were able to hold their hands up against each other during that visit, and that meant something to her, although she was not, again, able to get that hug. Yodit.
Derek, can you tell us quickly about the morale there? How is the community having to cope with every hour passing by without hearing from the governor, who essentially gets to say whether he lives or dies?
Well, protesters have been out all day today, including supporters in Oklahoma City. We do know that high school students were protesting. They walked out of school. They gave a 22-minute moment of silence during the day. That happened as well as at the governor's office, the state capitol. Today we had protesters. They had a vigil there. The call for the governor to do something gets more and more intense as it gets closer to that execution time for Julius Jones. But right now, again, no word from the governor, but he is definitely seeing the pressure, I believe, from the community, from not just in Oklahoma, but around the country and even the world, for people who are calling for Julius Jones' execution not to happen.
Thank you so much. With me now is Julius's lifelong spiritual advisor and close friend, Reverend Keith Jossell. Reverend, thank you so very much for coming on, especially during this difficult time.
Yodit, thank you for having us and elevating this to your viewers.
You know, Reverend, you've been Julius's pastor since he was a teenager, and you watched him grow into a young man with a promising career, a promising future, that is, as a star athlete with a college scholarship to OU. You've also watched the last 20 years of his life be stolen from him, convicted of a crime and sentenced to death for something you know he didn't do. You had the chance to meet with Julius yesterday. My God, what can you even say to someone who's fought for so long to have this wrong made right, and for all of that to come down to this moment here? Could you share with us what that was like for you, what Julius's spirit is like, and what was said?
Yodit, when I met with him, I was looking forward to Julius and I, for the first time, being able to hug each other, to be able to put our arms around each other. And I had envisioned being able to hold him for a long period of time and just name out names of people who are sending their love and appreciation and support. But when I hugged him yesterday, he just slumped into my shoulders because he could not hug me back. I understood that he was going to have restraints on his wrist and on his ankles, but they had put a body chain around his chest that was keeping his arms tied to his body so that he couldn't even wipe the tears that were coming down from his eyes, that he couldn't even scratch his nose. And he just asked me, why are they doing this to me? Why are they doing this to me? He said, even if the governor had made the decision to execute, why wouldn't he just say something? Because here I am right now trying to figure out, what do I say to my family tomorrow? Who do I call? Because my telephone privileges are going to be cut off this night, Yodit, at 9 p.m. Who do I talk to, and what do I say in these final moments? It was a difficult time. It was one of those times, as a man of faith, that you don't try to make someone feel better. You just let them know that you love them. We put our trust in God that the governor would do the right thing. But we understand that at this late hour, we're still waiting for a miracle from God.
So if the governor refuses to step in and stop this execution from happening, you're going to be the one to go into the execution chamber with Julius, offering him support, to be there as his friend, as his minister. Has the weight of that moment struck you yet?
Today, all day today. Today has been a day of tears, yelling, screaming, and numbness. I had to meet with the Department of Corrections for 2 hours today for an orientation to walk through. And Yodit, what was actually said to me today, are you ready for the experience? What was said to me today,
oh my God,
this is just like going to see your grandfather in the hospital when you know he's getting ready to die. That is the level of callousness by our Department of Correction officials. This is not someone's grandfather. This is a 41-year-old healthy man who has lots of promise and a future in front of him. This is not an 82-year-old grandfather who has lived this life and now is waiting to exhale. This is a 41-year-old man whose life is getting ready to be taken away from him. No, I'm not ready for the experience, but for Julius, I will be there for him, because he doesn't deserve to die in a room with people that do not care about him.
did you respond to that statement as if it was a sporting event or something? But did you respond to that individual when they said that?
I did. I said, are you for real? And the response was, that wasn't meant to be patronizing or condescending. And I said, it was.
So, Reverend, how do you want to be there for him, for Julius, but this is something that will never leave your mind, your heart. It'll be something that you'll reflect on forever. How do you begin to prepare for something like this?
Tonight, Julius gets his last meal at 9 p.m. I won't eat from 9 p.m. I will be fasting alongside of Julius. I've been praying and I've been in solitude a lot today. But you can't prepare for this, especially in the state of Oklahoma that has continued to botch executions over and over again. Just on October 28th, John Grant was executed. It took the state of Oklahoma 12 minutes to murder him. 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He had 24 convulsions. He regurgitated twice, where doctors had to come into the room and wipe the regurgitation from his mouth as they continued to murder him. And so I understand that this is going to be incredibly painful for Julius. I understand that his organs won't even be able to be donated to anyone else because of the destruction that is going to be going on within. And so, no, I'm not ready for this. Fortunately, I have pastors around me who are praying with me, who are supportive of me. I'll be undergoing therapy. I already have meetings scheduled on Saturday just to be in pastoral care. But again, I have to be there because Julius doesn't deserve to die alone.
Last question to you. Have you thought about what you'll say to Julius in his final moments, if it comes to that?
Well, I'll be meeting with him earlier in the day for 30 minutes. He'll be in his cell. I'll be able to touch his hands, and I plan on administering communion to him. Julius is a man of faith. He knows God, and God knows him. I'll be anointing his head with oil, and I believe that my primary responsibility at that time is to usher him into the presence of God. At least if that is what takes place and this governor does not step in and intervene between now and 4 o'clock tomorrow, at least I know that Julius will be in the presence of God. And for the first time in 22 years, he'll be free. And I believe that will be one of the main points that I will say to him. The second point, Yodit, that I will say to him is that the state of Oklahoma has just made you a martyr. He and I have talked about that, and his legacy will continue. His legacy of mentoring young people like he's done while he's been incarcerated, his legacy of wanting to tear down the systemic inequities within our justice system will continue. There has been a rise in this state of Black, white, conservative, Democrat, not just in Oklahoma, not just in this nation, but all over the world, who have come together. And Julius has been blown away by the fact that God has used him to bring so many different people together that never would have come together, that never would have stood alongside of each other to fight, but they have because of him. And God has used him, and that legacy that he has created today does not die with him. That legacy continues, and we will continue to fight social injustice. We will continue to fight systemic inequity in the state of Oklahoma and beyond. Justice for Julius.
Reverend, it's just so incredibly hard to even talk about this. So I can't imagine how you are going to have to endure the next 24 hours. But we are standing in support of you. We're with you in spirit and pray for your continued strength. Reverend Keith Jossell, thank you so much for your time.